What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of 101 Sports and Cards. Always I'm Nathan Halloween. With me, Jared Tresh.
What's going on?
First off, Happy New Year. Hopefully you all had a safe New Year. Well, yeah, we're going to start out in the NFL. Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera are expected to interview for the Jets head coaching job. Of course, Rex Ryan was a former Jets head coach, and Ron Rivera has coached most recently for the Washington Commanders. But there was an inside source that said that it's probably going to be like some no-name that gets this job. And either way, who would actually want to go and coach the Jets? Although they are expected to move on from both Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams next year because owner Woody Johnson has apparently an irreparable relationship with Rodgers. And if Rodgers is gone, Davante is gone too.
Yeah.
The Chiefs clinch top seed in the AFC. The Bills are the 2 seed. The AFC playoff race is down to between 3 teams. If the Broncos win this week, actually we'll save this. We'll save this until we go into previewing this week. So last week, week 17, recap: Chiefs dominated the Steelers 29-10. I'm not going to go through a bunch of the stats just because, as you can tell, my voice does not want to. Mahomes 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Steelers are bad. They've been really bad. I don't know why. What was a terrible game? The Ravens blew out the Texans 31-2. Lamar had 168 yards passing, two passing touchdowns, 87 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Seahawks defeated the Bears 6-3. Oh, what a game! I'm not even going to go into the stats because there were none. Chargers demolished the Patriots 40-7. Justin Herbert 281 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of which went to Lat McConkey. The Bengals beat the Broncos in overtime to keep their playoff hopes alive, 30-24 in an absolutely remarkable game. Burrow 412 yards, 3 touchdowns. Higgins had 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bo Nix 219 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And then Marvin Mims had 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game-tying touchdown that sent the game into overtime, which was just an amazing throw by Bo Nix, and Bo Nix has proven me wrong this year. And honestly, I'm all for it. Bo Nix is going to be a very good quarterback in this league, especially if the Broncos can get more help, especially at the running back position. Rams defeated the Cardinals 13-9. Stafford 189 yards. Puka had 129 yards. The Bills blew out the Jets 40-14. Josh Allen 182 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Jags defeated the Titans 20-13. Mac Jones 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brian Thomas continues his great season, 91 yards and a touchdown. He is one of 5 receivers. He's 5th in the NFL right now in receiving yards as a rookie, and on a team that, doesn't have the best quarterback play between Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. So the fact that Brian Thomas has not gotten any recognition really this year, especially in like the Rookie of the Year race, which I know is basically between Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels has basically already clinched it. But Brian Thomas should get some recognition. I'll recognize him though, because he single-handedly carried my fantasy team all season. The Bucs demolished the Panthers 48-14 to keep their playoff hopes alive. Baker had 359 yards and 5 touchdowns. Mike Evans 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans is also, I believe, 100 yards. He needs 100 yards this week to reach 1,000 yards. Do you think he'll get it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think he'll get it. They're going to be throwing it to him every time. The Raiders defeated the Saints 25-10. Aiden O'Connell, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler sucks. The Eagles blew out the Cowboys 41-7. Kenny Pickett, 143 yards and a touchdown before he left the game with a rib injury. Tanner McKee came in. He went 3 for 4 for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saquon had 167 rushing yards in the game. To put him over 2,000 yards. He's the 9th running back ever to be over 2,000 yards in a season, but yet he will not be able to try and catch Eric Dickerson's record because he is not going to play the final week of the regular season. Giants eliminated the Colts 45-33. Drew Lock, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Malik Neighbors, 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Colts, Joe Flacco got the start since Anthony Richardson decided that, his foot was hurting, and so he couldn't play. Flacco had 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks, just your typical Joe Flacco game. The Dolphins blew out the Browns 20-3. Snoop, Tyler Huntley, 225 yards, touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. He started for Tua, who was out. Tua is also expected to be out this week with the Dolphins' playoff hopes on the line. The Vikings held off the Packers 27-25. Sam Darnold had arguably the best game of his career, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Jordan Love, 185 yards, and a touchdown. The Commanders defeated the Falcons in overtime, 30-24, to clinch a playoff spot. Jaden Daniels, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and 127 rushing yards. He passed RG3 for the most rushing yards for a rookie QB in their rookies. Lions defeated the 49ers 40-34 on Monday night. Jared Goff, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 117 yards, and a touchdown. So Week 18 begins on Saturday. This is the actual, in order of how the games will be. We finally know who will be playing at what time. On Saturday, there are 2 games Saturday. It is the Browns and the Ravens to begin. If the Ravens win, they win the AFC North.
Ravens.
I'm also going with the Ravens. The other game on Saturday is Bengals-Steelers. The Steelers need the Ravens to lose, and for them to win the AFC North. The Bengals have to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They also need the Broncos and the Dolphins to lose, which is seems like a lot, but
it's possible.
It is.
Bengals.
I'm also going with the Bengals. Bears and Packers. The Packers are probably not going to play most of their starters in the second half. They'll probably play in the first half.
I think Packers still get it done.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers. I can't pick the Bears. Chargers and Raiders.
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers. Texans and Titans.
Texans.
Panthers and Falcons.
I'm going Panthers.
I'm also going with the Panthers. The Falcons have to win this game. They either need to win this game. If they win the game, they win the NFC South over the Bucs. If they lose, but the Bucs also lose, they win the NFC South. If they lose and the Bucs win, the Bucs are the winners of the NFC South, and the Falcons would be eliminated. That's the only teams left in the playoff race in the NFC. The rest have already been clinched. Saints and Bucs. Definitely the Bucs. Bills and Patriots. Now, the Bills are probably not going to play anybody.
I still think the Bills get it done.
I'm also going with the Bills. The Patriots right now, they do not need to win this week. And they should not win this week. They should tank this game, because if they lose, they will have the first pick in next year's draft, because, the Giants decided to win last week.
Yeah.
Which really screwed them. But I mean, hey, they dropped 45 on the Colts. It's embarrassing. Talking about the Colts, Jags and Colts.
Jags.
I'm also going to go with the Jags. Anthony Richardson's not going to play, so I trust Mac Jones more than Joe Flacco at this point. Commanders and Cowboys.
Commanders.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys just because I don't know if the Commanders are really going to play anybody. Because I believe they have the 7th seed locked up, because the Packers should be the 6th, I think. Could be wrong. Giants and Eagles. The Eagles aren't playing anybody.
Still Eagles.
I'm also going with the Eagles. Seahawks and Rams. This would have been one of the best games of the week if the Seahawks, wouldn't have sucked.
Rams.
I'm also going with the Rams. Dolphins and Jets is a must-win game for the Dolphins. I'm going with the Jets because I believe they're going to start Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor played amazing whenever he came in last week for Aaron Rodgers, and I trust him a lot more than Tyler Hunt. Chiefs and Broncos. The Broncos win. They're in the playoffs. The Chiefs will not be playing anybody. It will be Carson Wentz starting at quarterback.
Broncos.
I'm also going 49ers and Cardinals. This game means absolutely nothing.
Cardinals.
I'm also going with the Cardinals. 49ers are not. Brock Purdy's not starting. Sunday night game. biggest game of the season. This is for not only the NFC North crown, it is also for the top seed in the NFC, Vikings and Lions.
Sammy Dimes, and the Vikings.
I'm also going with the Vikings. I've never wanted the Vikings to win more because I am so tired of hearing about the Lions. The Lions are not as good as everybody thinks. And yes, that's due to their defense has just been absolutely murdered with injuries. But the Vikings are the better team. And if they can get after Jared Goff,
pressure him,
they will easily win this game.
Because, Jared Goff likes to throw picks. And you know who loves getting picks? The Vikings defense.
So that is the NFL. This is the final week of the NFL regular season. Playoffs begin next week. Next week, we will give our playoff preview. So look forward to that. Moving on to the association, the Kings fired head coach Mike Brown after their very poor start to the season. They were in the mid of a 5-game losing streak whenever they fired him. Doug Christie has been named the interim head coach. He was a former player for the Kings. I believe he played 4 years for him. I should know because I literally wrote about this right after it happened. This was
a horrible move.
This was a terrible move. The Kings, this is not Mike Brown's fault. Mike Brown's a great head coach. 3 seasons in Sacramento, he was 107 and 88. He led them in 2022-23 to their first playoff in 17 years, which is the United States. I didn't even realize this until Shams put it on there. That was 17 years. Playoff drought is the longest in United States sports history, and he led them to the playoffs. Broke that terrible streak that they were on. Won Coach of the Year. He's a 2-time Coach of the Year. People forget that he won one earlier in his career. And guess what? The Kings' struggles is not his fault. Their owner is an idiot. Their front office is stupid. Adding DeMar DeRozan, like I said in the offseason, was not going to be a good move. He does not fit with that team. He can't shoot besides mid-range. He can't defend. And then everybody that they have targeted this season on the trade, in the trade market, they're targeting more offensive players. They don't need offense. They have enough offense with De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter. I can just keep going on. Devin Carter, whenever he comes back. He just came back in the G League, made his G League debut, the 13th overall pick in the 2025 draft. Dropped 29 points in 32 minutes.
And Ellis.
Keon Ellis is solid.
Yeah.
He doesn't get much playing time anymore. But this was not Mike Brown's fault. He was just basically their scapegoat, and they got rid of him. Doug Christie's not going to turn this team around. I'm going to tell you that right now. They did win. They finally broke. They had a 6-game losing streak. They broke it on Monday against the Mavericks. The Mavericks were out Luka and Kyrie, and they still only won by 10 points. The Kings, I'm going to go ahead and say their playoff hopes are over, and they have to turn their attention now to keeping De'Aaron Fox on the team because a few weeks ago, he went on Draymond Green's podcast. Of course, he declined their contract extension that they offered him in the offseason because he wanted to see what they were building for the future. Of course, they ended up getting DeRozan, ended up drafting Devin Carter. But it has not worked yet, and he went on Draymond Green's podcast a few weeks ago and talked about it and said that he would love to spend the rest of his career with the Kings, but he also wants to win. And the Kings have not been winning.
Yeah.
They sit 12th in the Western Conference standings right now, which is they're under 500. I believe there's 6 games under 500. They were expected to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and it just has not worked out. And so De'Aaron Fox, he's expected to demand a trade at some point this season. If you want more info on this for the Kings, go on Athlon Sports and search me up. I got a ton of info for De'Aaron Fox trade rumors and everything like that. So
yeah, go hit him up.
The Lakers landed Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton from the Nets for D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and 3 second-round picks. I'm going to get to this trade in a second. Dorian Finney-Smith was a key trade target for many teams, including the Kings. He's a great 3-and-D player. He's shooting a career-high 44.4% from 3 this season. He is 32 years old, but he's one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league at his age, and one of the best that was actually on the trade market because, the Nets are trying to lose. This was a tough blow for multiple teams that wanted him, and one of them was the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies offered the Nets John Conchar and Luke Kennard and a top 17 protected first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith and the Nets' 2025 second-round pick. And the Nets declined them. They'd rather take on the 3 second-rounders from the Lakers, which makes sense instead of taking on a protected first-rounder. Although, if they would have done that, they would get the Grizzlies pick next year. Although the Grizzlies, it would basically be, I believe it was a 2025 first-rounder that they were offering. The Grizzlies are the second-best team in the Western Conference, so they probably would have got it.
Yeah.
But they decided to go with 3 second-rounders. They got a pretty nice haul. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, at this point, isn't as good as he used to be. It's his second stint with the Nuts.
Still a good role player, though.
Yeah. Maxwell Lewis got literally no playing time with the Lakers, but when he did, he played somewhat decently. So this is also a great move for the Lakers. Dorian Finney-Smith, they need defense. They need perimeter defense. And Shake Milton is also going to fill in as either their starting point guard now or coming off the bench. What the Lakers really need is a point guard.
Yeah.
Because D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent were the only ones on their roster. Now D'Lo's gone, and Gabe Vincent sucks. So do you like this move for the Lakers?
They ain't gonna help them win, but
No, it's not. With the NBA, the lack of or the drop in ratings, you're seeing fights begin to start. We saw 2 fights last week between Najee Marshall and Yusuf Nurkic, both of whom, plus PJ Washington, were suspended multiple games. And then we saw the other night between the Rockets and the Heat, Amin Thompson throw Tyler Hero to the ground. So maybe fights are coming back. Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla said that, he wishes they bring fighting back into the league. Maybe it's happening.
You gotta get ratings up somehow. Because they're running the shit on it now.
As long as we don't go back to, like the Malice and the Palace and get fans involved.
Yeah.
Then we're good. The Magic lost Jalen Suggs to a wrist sprain. He is not expected to be out very long. But it's just another huge blow for the Magic, who continue to sit 4th in the Eastern Conference. Paulo should be coming back within the next few weeks, which is a good sign for them. Of course, Franz, there's still really no timetable. And then Franz's brother, Mo Wagner, is out for the rest of the season with torn ACL. Also, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the best team in basketball. I do not care that the Cavs have the best record. The Thunder are the best team. They've won 12 straight games. And as of right now, I would probably have Shea winning MVP. Although Jokic is putting together arguably the best season of his career, which is amazing. But what Shea's been able to do with the Thunder is without Chet. Yeah. You got to think they've been without Chet. They're without Isaiah Hartenstein for a little bit. What Shea has been able to do both offensively and defensively.
He also dropped 40 last night, too.
Yeah. He also tied his career high a few weeks ago against the Pacers whenever he dropped 40.
He's just good.
I believe the Thunder are the best team in basketball, and it's not even close. We got a baseball. Corbin Burns signed with the Diamondbacks. You like the move?
Good move. It's going to help them pitching-wise, but they still got to get some offensive pieces.
Teoscar Hernandez signed with the Dodgers.
It's a good. They need to keep him.
Yeah. The Tigers signed Gleyber Torres.
I actually like this move. I know a lot of Tigers fans don't, but yeah, we got washed-up bum Javier Baez, and now we got washed-up bum Gleyber. Gleyber makes a lot of errors. He does. That's why he's at second base. He is still a 260 hitter with 20 home run power. Did you guys ever think it's because he's a Yankee and he's so much pressure at being a Yankee? Gleyber, we've seen glimpses of Gleyber throughout the years. He can be an all-star. I think it's a good move for the Tigers. It gets them a veteran that has played at the level of World Series in the playoffs. You gotta remember, this Tigers team is young. They have no experience. I think it's a good move.
The Nationals were in on Glaber, but they wanted him to move to third base, and he refused to do so.
It's a lot of A's, too.
The Tigers are also set to move, I believe, Colt Keith now to first base.
Yeah.
Which could open up them trading away Spencer Torkelson. Which, please, Mike Rizzo, Nationals, get him. We need a first baseman. Although we just got Nathaniel Lowe. Doesn't matter. Get him. But who the Nationals did sign was Josh Bell. Josh Bell will be coming back. He's more than likely going to be their DH. And they also brought back Trevor Williams. He's a great veteran pitcher. He was on fire last year. Had a 2.03 ERA and 6 wins before he got injured and then basically was out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
If he can be like that, he's the ace of the Nats, which is sad to say.
Yeah.
But they need pitching, and Trevor Williams, I like the move. 2 years, $14 million. You didn't overpay. And he showed glimpses last year that he still has it. So, and that's basically the thing the Nationals need is pitching until you wait and see whenever, Cade Cavalli comes back from his Tommy John surgery. And then, you have multiple guys down like Travis Ikora and Harlan Sassano. They're the next one. Cubs and Marlins swapped Vidal Brujan for Matt Mervis, two former top 100 prospects, and probably the most mid-move of the offseason. It's like the 14 Vidal Brujan's been on in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Just getting passed around. Moving on to college football. Penn State won their game. Congrats to them. SMU did not show up at all.
SMU.
I'm thinking the first week. That's who they beat the first round. SMU didn't show up in the first round. Boise State did not show up. Texas currently beating Arizona State 17-8 as we're recording this. Also, the game tonight that was supposed to be between the Notre Dame and Georgia has been moved to Thursday night due to basically a terrorist attack in New Orleans, according to the FBI. So I'm not going to go deep into it because I don't have all the information. Nobody does really right now, but not a good way to start off the new year.
Yeah.
But that game will be moved to tomorrow. On to college basketball, the new rankings, nothing changed. I'm not even going to go through the rankings because the top 10 stayed exactly the same. Yeah, college, they didn't even really play last week because of Christmas. So the best games this week, though. Also, Kansas lost to West Virginia. They got upset by West Virginia. It was the first time, I believe they'd won 30 some odd consecutive home openers against conference opponents. That streak is broken. And that's a huge upset. But the best games this week. Thursday will be number 22 Illinois versus number 9 Oregon. Saturday will be number 6 Florida versus number 10 Kentucky. That's going to be a great matchup. Saturday will be number 23 Arkansas versus number 1 Tennessee. Also on Saturday, 25 Baylor and 3 Iowa State. And 12 Oklahoma and 5 Alabama is also on Saturday. Next Tuesday, there's 2 great games. Number 1 Tennessee versus number 6 Florida. That should be a great game. And then number 16 Cincinnati and number 25. So yes, that is everything that we have. There is golf on this weekend. I forget what it is, but a lot of people are playing in it.
That's not all we have. We got more. You say it like we're done, and people already clicked off. Okay, bye.
That's all we have for this. We are now going to do, like I said last week, we're going to do our year in review. So we're going to go through multiple topics and give our thoughts, and please let us know if you agree. So the first one is the best NFL player of the year goes to
Lamar Jackson.
I also have Lamar Jackson. He won MVP last year, and he is also probably going to win it this year after his recent performances, and Josh Allen has not been as good. Best NBA player goes to...
I think it's only one guy, and it's Jokic.
It's Jokic. Somehow he continues to get better. Came off his 3rd MVP last year. He should be a 4-time MVP award winner, but, they had to throw in Joel Floppy Embiid in there. Jokic is the best player in the world. It's not even close. He continues to get better. He's almost averaging a triple-double as a center this season, which is amazing. He's the only reason the Nuggets are actually good or somewhat decent this year because nobody else on that team stepped up besides Michael Porter Jr. is also having a career year. But Jokic is
unbelievable.
He's in the. It's between him and Shea again for the second straight year for MVP. Would not be surprising if he wins his fourth. Best MLB player, I believe we both have the same person.
I think there's only one guy, and it's Noel Monte. I'm kidding. It's Shohei Ohtani.
It's Shohei. I mean, the season he just had. Plus, he's going to be pitching.
Yes.
This year. The team of the year.
I went with my Boston Celtics. They were easily the best, most dominant team this year. They broke the franchise record for most wins in a single season. And that's pretty hard to do, as the Celtics are very historic. And they basically dominated.
I also went with the Celtics. I mean, how they just breezed through the Eastern Conference part of the playoffs, and then they absolutely whooped the Mavericks in the finals. They also won their NBA leading 18th championship, breaking the tie with the Lakers. They were the best team.
I don't think it's even close.
I mean, they also have a super team. But yeah, they are struggling right now a little bit. But
I'm not Lloyd.
Yeah. Player of the year.
It's Shohei Ohtani for me. I mean, he had the best MLB season of all time. 50-50, only one ever do it. He won a World Series also. I mean, it wasn't really much of his help, but he still got a ring. And, I mean, I know there's a bunch of people, and I know yours is different than mine. You went a different route, which I understand too. But the season that Shohei had was just, it was absolutely it was to watch the season he had. That's something that we're probably never going to see in our lives again. This was a once-in-a-lifetime season, I feel like, unless he does it again next year. And he could, since he's pitching, so it could be even better. But I just don't think we ever see another season like that ever again.
I did not go with Shohei. I respect Shohei had a great year. I went with not one of the four major sports. I went with Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler had the best season since young Tiger Woods. He had 7 PGA wins, including winning the Masters, the Players, and the FedEx Cup. He also won a gold medal in the Paris Olympics. I mean,
he dominated.
It wasn't. He's the best golfer in the world right now, and it's not even close. 7 wins in a season 7 PGA wins in a season is unheard of.
Yeah.
Outside of Tiger,
especially the major wins too.
Yeah. Next is Rookie of the Year.
I went a different route than what most people. I know a lot of people just say Victor Wembanyama.
That's who I had.
And some other people. I went with the wonder kid that, just took the world by storm, and he played absolutely amazing for our young years against a bunch of grown men. That's Lamine Yamal. I mean, what the kid did as a 17-year-old overseas with the most historic franchise in Barcelona, in the footsteps of Messi, Ronaldo, basically every single great soccer player ever played for them, besides like Pele.
Ronaldo didn't play for.
Oh, he did.
For FC Barcelona.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Played for Real Madrid.
Yeah. So, but still the greats like Messi and all of them. He played absolutely outstanding in
Neymar.
Yeah. There's a bunch.
That's who you were thinking.
Yeah. So I think Lamine Yamal is the Rookie of the Year.
I went with Victor Wembanyama, not just because, I mean, he's 7'5", he can do everything. Should have won Defensive Player of the Year. He single-handedly turned the Spurs around last season, and, I mean, what he can do at his size, we've never seen, and we'll probably never see again. And guess what? He also, I'm not even going to say it's just with the NBA for the rookie season, but also his rookie campaign in the Paris Olympics. Yeah. I mean, he was the main reason France made it to the final at home in Paris. Just to see what he did against, the top NBA talent and the top talent in the world
at that stage.
It was just amazing. We're never going to see a player like it, and he's continued into his sophomore season. I mean, he's like 6th in odds to win MVP this year. So he's just been unbelievable.
If we're being honest, there's so many great Rookie of the Years this year.
I mean, you could have went with Stroud.
Jaden Daniels, who's arguably had the best rookie season ever. I think he broke the single-season rookie rush record and passing record as a QB. So there's a lot of good. And hockey. Is there a guy who knows hockey?
Bedard.
Yeah, I mean, Bedard had a pretty good year. I mean, sports this year was very good.
And guess what? This year, it's going to be even better. Because with the MLB draft from last year and then some of them prospects coming up and being rookies, like, Jack Caglione. You're also going to have, the 2025 NBA draft. It's absolutely loaded and headlined by Cooper Flagg. You also have possibly some coming out of the NFL draft class. I don't think this upcoming draft class is going to be very good, but you never know.
Yeah.
So next is best championship.
I'm going with the Florida Panthers because nobody expected them to win.
I also went with the Panthers. The Stanley Cup Finals was probably the best. It was the best championship series. I mean, I'm not a huge neither of us are huge hockey guys, but I will say I watched a ton of these games because I wanted to see Edmonton win. Of course, Edmonton they were down 3-0 to begin, forced Game 7, which is unheard of. And then the Panthers were able to, not be on the bad side of history, but instead won their first Stanley Cup, and it was a great series. And I mean, it was better. You look back at the other series, the NBA Finals wasn't very competitive. This year's World Series wasn't very competitive. NCAA, you could have said like college basketball. You could have went with UConn just because to win back-to-back. Yeah. And then the Super Bowl also wasn't that competitive with the Chiefs winning. But this is one of the best Stanley Cup Finals I've ever watched, and I usually watch Stanley Cup Finals every year.
Yeah.
The final one we have is best single game performance.
I think it's a kind of a no-brainer. It's also Shohei's 50-50 game. We went 6 for 6.
I also put that Shohei Ohtani 6 for 6 performance against the Marlins. He went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and joined the 50-50 as the only
person to do it.
Yeah. So that is our year in review. What would you like to see? One thing in the upcoming season. I know yours is probably going to be the Vikings win the Super Bowl.
I would love to see the Vikings win the Super Bowl. I would love to see the Reds make some good moves so we can actually be competitive this year, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I just want to see some really good games, championships. I want to see some good playoffs, because so far the college football playoff has sucked. Just hasn't been exciting. It's been just kind of blowouts after blowout. So I just want to see some close playoff games, because it just wasn't that great this year.
I'm going to say 2 things. First is, I'm going to go with a favorite team. I'm not going to go with the Packers winning the Super Bowl, because honestly, we're not going. I'm going to go with, I just want to see the Spurs make the playoffs. We're in a playoff spot right now. It would be amazing for them to make the playoffs with the team that they currently have, and for them to basically, in their rebuild already, is amazing. The other thing is I am very excited to see, just as a basketball fan and a person who covers the NBA, I am very excited for the 2025 NBA draft, which is the absolute most loaded draft we've probably ever seen. So I'm very excited about that, and to see how they transition to the NBA.
Of course, some will be bust. Some will be surprises.
I mean, you don't know. You never know if they're going to be bust. You look at last year's NFL draft, and you're like, some of these guys could be bust. Every person in the first round has been amazing, except for J.J. McCarthy because he hasn't played.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
So that is all we have. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this special episode. Happy New Year. Thank you for listening. Come back here next week. Peace.